Alright, I'm done. I'm done. I can't. I'm not playing this character anymore. I'm throwing in the towel. I've had enough. I'm crashing out. I got up to almost 1800 MR, and then I just spent the last, like, hour just getting pissed off. I'm not playing this character anymore. Vacation's over. I'm not doing it. If you're a Marisa player, you are stronger than me. Let's have a quick discussion about what I think this character needs to be good, because right now she is so rough to play. I think I'm gonna make a little list. All right, we're gonna do my proposed Marisa fix here, because I've now been playing her for a week. I've seen her strengths and I've seen her many weaknesses. So how to make Marisa not doo-doo character by Broski, age 4. All right, number one, very first thing that we need to do with Marisa is a huge quality of life pass through. I'm just gonna write like QOL fixes just as like a catch-all here, because she has so many things which are so jank and just don't work in a way that's satisfying or reliable. So like, I'm not even gonna start off by giving her any new stuff. I'm just gonna start off with a bunch of quality of life fixes, because a good example is Terry, right? So if you guys remember when Terry first came out, Terry had a lot of jank. A lot of his combos like dropped at like weird ranges. He just didn't feel good to use, and that's one of the worst things a character can have, is lots of inconsistencies. So I'm gonna start off with this. I'm gonna give her like the Terry treatment. So level 3 becomes 2 frames startup when cancelled into. And just in case you don't understand why I'm doing that or what that means, let's talk about Akuma. You guys want to talk about Akuma? Let's talk about Akuma. You thought this was a Marisa video? It's actually secretly an Akuma video. Actually, I will say, this is a thing about Akuma that I think most characters should have. So, Akuma's level 3 is 8 frames startup. But, if you perform this as a cancel, if you look in the frame meter, it's 2 frames startup. And the reason for that is for consistency, because that means that when Akuma does something like DP level 3, as long as you're low enough to get the level 3, it should always come out. Like that. So the idea being that if they make it 2 frames startup, as long as the level 3 cancel is possible, it will always hit, because it's so unbelievably fast when performed as a cancel. Ken does not have enough time to like move after the cancel and then potentially get missed by the level 3. So you will never ever see Akuma do DP level 3 and it not be a combo because of that property. Marisa's level 3. Her level 3 is 13 frames startup, and if you perform it as a cancel, it's still 13 frames startup. And that happens. So every single time you try and go for like a long range level 3 cancel like this, you are gambling instant death, if depending on like micro spacing. So I'm saying her level 3 needs to be like 2 frames startup if performed as a cancel, so that you don't have to like send a prayer every single time you do this cancel. And I think my other quality of life fix that I want to mention is change her inputs, because Superman punch overlaps with level 1, and every time it happens, I died a little on the inside. I thought I was just bad, and then I talked to a bunch of Marisa players, and it turns out this is a universal experience. It's so sensitive, like how easily you can get this when you want to go to a quick DP. Reconstitute into some sort of dish. Oh, guys, do you see what I'm talking about? Do you see? That is the perfect example. I'm going to include this in the YouTube video, because everyone earlier who told me that real Marisa players never have to deal with that fucking input overlap. Do you see? This man is now in the loser's bracket because he tried to do Superman punch and he got random level 1 and died. Thank you to that Marisa player for illustrating perfectly what I was complaining about earlier. I'm just gonna sort of leave this as like QOL fixes, and basically any time that Marisa has an issue with combo consistency, I'm just gonna sort of group it under QOL fixes, because the most important thing she needs before you even talk about Marisa buffs is all of these things to be fixed, because before you make a character even good, I think it's much more important to make them feel satisfying. You can be the weakest character in the game, but at least if your kit feels like it works, that's not too bad. But if you feel like you're constantly fighting against the system mechanics just to get stuff to work, that's a really bad feel. So that should be #1 priority. But if we are moving past just quality of life stuff into actual buffs, so I was thinking a little bit about like what Marisa's archetype is supposed to be in this game. And I think she's a brawler, not a grappler. So I don't really want to turn her into like a character that's super designed around her command grab too much. I want to lean more into the brawler archetype. So I'm going to focus on changes that kind of like work with that. Her whole thing should be like big damage and scary frame traps rather than just turning her into Zangief. So with that being said, the very first thing I'm going to do is this, which this change fixes like 6 different issues that she has instantly. This fixes so many things at once. Right now, her crouch jab is +3 on hit, which means she has absolutely no way of doing light to medium on counter hit. So like a character, so the thing about Marisa is she's a plus frame dispenser. She has lots of ways of giving herself plus frames, like this thing, her charge normals, this is plus. But it feels so bad when you get the plus frames and then you catch your opponent mashing, you get your counter hit, which is what a plus frame character should be aiming for, and your reward for getting a counter hit is nothing, because she doesn't have any link here. So if you make this +5, this would link on counter hit, and the other thing is, this would be a link on punish counter, which fixes another issue with Marisa, which is that in Season 2, Capcom buffed drive reversal to make it only -6 on block, and that inadvertently fucking killed Marisa's punishes on drive reversals. So like, right now, her best drive reversal punish is like that, and even if she does like a full cash out, she doesn't get a whole lot more. But theoretically, she'd be able to do like this, which is a nice little damage increase. It's not too much though. The other thing is that Marisa really was a huge victim of changes to the system mechanics, because the other thing they did in Season 2 is they added a shitload of scaling to lights. So I can understand why they didn't want this to be a link in Season 1, because this would have done 200 billion damage back then. But now that they've made lights scale really hard as a combo starter, I think we can give her crouch jab back fierce on punish counter. Because look how hard this scales, like, full cash out combo is like, I don't know, 3k on a drive reversal in this theoretical scenario. Like, that's not even that big of a deal. So that's another problem fixed. We've also fixed her drive reversal punish, and the last problem is this. So Marisa is also cursed to be unable to convert well off jabs. She cannot do jab, jab, drive rush, jab, which is like a huge through line in this game. So if we make crouch jab go from being +3 to +5, that also makes this a combo, because it would look like this. So again, she would also actually be able to convert off jab, but because of the jab scaling changes, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, because it's like, this is what the combo would look like. And that's fine. That's not that much damage. That's probably less than a lot of other characters can do. Adding 2 frames of advantage to her jab fixes like so many issues that I'm shocked they haven't done it yet. Speaking of her crouch jab, I'm actually not finished yet, because we're also going to do this. I genuinely have no idea why her crouch jab is -3 on block. It can't even frame trap into itself, which is bizarre. So right now, crouch jab trades. It feels so bad when it happens. Chaining jabs in this game is supposed to be your anti-mash option. And the other thing is, because her jab is -3 on block, that also means that drive rush jab is only +1, which means that she also is unable to tick throw you off stuff like this. This is actually fake, this tick throw, because you're only +1 on block. So if you make it -2, this becomes a real tick throw. not done yet. I've got 3 more changes. Can I show you something that drove me insane while I was playing Marisa? Let me show you something that Ryu has. So I'm gonna stand here with Ryu, and I'm gonna record the dummy just walking backwards. Now Ryu is not really a brawler. That's not his archetype. And yet, when Ryu presses his solar plexus, do you notice that Ken completely stops moving the moment that you start pressing this button, so it's impossible to walk out of range? Solar plexus is a proximity block machine. So you can't just hold back to beat it, and then Ryu can take advantage of his plus frames. Now let's look at Marisa, who has to spend like twice as long charging Gladius. You just walk out of her pressure. She literally cannot stop people walking out of her pressure. So yeah, I think this should have some degree of proximity block, because it's so easy to walk out of this thing, especially if you've got fast back walk speed. Back to Akuma again. All roads lead to Akuma. Alright? Like, it is impossible to lock down Akuma because he just walks out of all of your pressure. And the other change I mentioned is also the pushback on block. If you do manage to make someone block this thing, you get a +4 situation on block. But the problem is, this also does insane amounts of pushback. So it's like, yeah, you're +4. But like, how can Marisa actually like enforce any mix-up here? Because command grab doesn't come close to reaching. You're nowhere close to throw range. So I think if you get the full charge, they should be a little bit closer as well, so that you can actually take advantage of your plus frames. Speaking of people walking out of Marisa's pressure, 2MK, now super cancelable, 18 frame confirm window. So, Marisa, I mentioned that people can just walk out of her pressure all day, every day. The only thing she has to stop people walking back are the worst lows in history. So like, you can sweep, but it's -1 billion on block. Crouch light kick has no range, and so you're only left with crouch medium kick. And this crouch medium kick leads to quite literally nothing ever. It's one of the weirdest crouch medium kicks in the game. So like, when I read that my opponent is going to try and walk out of pressure, I press crouch medium kick and my reward is a +2 situation that leads to nothing. So I'm not saying make this thing special cancelable. We don't want Marisa being a low forward drive rush character. But I do think at the very least this should be super cancelable, and you should be able to single hit confirm it. And the final change is going to be a buff to her command grab. And I know that sounds strange because I started this by saying that I don't want her to be a looping blender character. I'm not going to increase the range on her command grab or the damage or anything like that. I'm going to say command grab now refunds half a bar of drive on hit. Because when you finally do land the command grab with Marisa, it doesn't feel very good. Let me show you what happens with Zangief. If you look at Zangief's drive gauge after a situation like this, he gets almost a bar of drive from landing SPD. This was one of his big buffs in Season 2. I'm not saying we give Marisa a whole bar, but it does offset a little bit of the investment of like using a drive rush cancel to get in. But like, when you're playing Marisa, her command grab does not refund drive. You're just back to regular recovery. So I think you should get half a bar of drive for landing command grab. I think these changes would be enough. They're not going to make her like top 1 or anything, but I think they make her a lot less annoying to play. I think that's the goal here, is to make her feel a little bit more satisfying. No anti-air changes? I honestly don't think her anti-air is anywhere near as bad as you guys do. Maybe it's the Aki player in me talking, but like, her crouch fierce honestly didn't feel that bad to use. If I was being extra generous, this is the only thing I will give you guys. If I was being extra generous, backdash frames normalized can backdash throws in the corner and be +4. This should be a universal change, honestly. Yeah, this shouldn't even be a Marisa change. I think every single character in the game should be able to punish throw in the corner with a backdash. It's fucking insane that you can't, to be honest. So, yeah, this has been my experience with Marisa. I was having fun on like day 1 and day 2 because it was just the novelty of playing a new character. But once like the reality started to set in and I was like the initial like fun was starting to wear off, I was just getting fucking pissed off with this character. So this is what I would change if it was up to me. But of course, it's not up to me. This is just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section, and I will see you all in the next video.